I knew that when I was turning 21 that I wanted to build a house. I had read a book called Voyage to Arcturus. It was kind of a spiritual quest. And so I thought building this house is like a spiritual quest. And so I would call it Arcturus. It was only years later that I thought, how fortuitous that Arcturus is actually right above the skylight above the master bedroom. For political reasons, at age 18, I decided that I would focus my life on psychedelics. So that's 50 years ago. I took a lot of psychedelics, and I thought the more you take, the faster you evolve, and it didn't work that way. So I felt like what I really needed to do was to start getting grounded by building things. So I felt that building this house and trying to encode in it a vision of a place that would support psychedelic trips, that would do it though in a family context, that would have artistic elements, that would have natural elements, that helped me to balance out, to start to integrate a lot of the experiences I had under psychedelics. And so this house really helped me to get grounded. But I did overbuild for the neighborhood. I did exceed my budget. I was unable to finish the house. It became a very nurturing place to do psychedelics, to do psychedelic therapy, and it's been a great place for other people to live in, and it's also been a really good party house. My parents had a house designed by a student of Frank Lloyd Wright's that I grew up in. And so I learned an awful lot from that structure. When I first started building this house, I just thought post and beam, everything's, vertical and horizontal. And pretty shortly on, I realized that we could vary the angle of the wood on the skin, and we can tell stories with how the angles went together. And we could also vary the structure. So the ceiling in the master bedroom was designed both with the structure and with the wood to do a figure 8 with the skylight in the middle. Everything is natural materials. It is what it is. There's no drywall, there's no formica, there's nothing that isn't what it is when you first see it. And I had such help from such great carpenters and stonemasons. The stained glass is kind of the theme of the house. This love between a man and a woman and building a family. So the artist made the stained glass on the site while we were building the house, just to add an element of artistic creation. So while all the carpenters are working, they would just have this idea that this is a piece of art as well as a house. The wall plates, originally when we built the house, they were all made out of ceramic and they told different stories. I like the custom tub that a friend of mine made out of fiberglass. There's designs in the different closets, different themes. So there's a lot of little personal touches, homemade. You move into the house and it's a sense of possibility. This home was the genesis for my involvement with MDMA for PTSD. The first person that I ever worked with PTSD, with MDMA in 1984, was in the master bedroom. And that's now what MAPS is doing. MAPS is a nonprofit psychedelic pharmaceutical company. My plan was always to kind of sort of come back here and set up a psychedelic clinic. And so that's what I hope to do in the next, 4 or 5 years, something like that. The home is different than when I built it. So that when I built it, I was kind of freaked out by the world. It was focused inward. There weren't as many windows, there weren't as many skylights. The landscape has built up beautifully since then. So now I feel it's better than when I built it. I would like people to think this is really a surprise. This is kind of neat, and I wonder what it would be like to live in that. And what crazy person built this.